A tour manager is not there to just have fun and party with the band, despite what you might see on social media. But it's been brought to my attention that some people don't know what a tour manager does. In fact, someone on my TikTok recently asked if being a TM just means being the artist's bitch. And as soon as I get a question like that, it just immediately tells me they don't understand the relationship between a tour manager and the band. In this video, I want to look at some of the most important things that tour managers, such as myself, have to do on the road. And if you stay until the end of the video, yes, this is a bribe, I will share one thing that TMs must do that most people don't even think falls in our wheelhouse of responsibility. But it makes a big difference. And if you're trying to be a TM, I definitely think you need to know this tip. Hi guys, my name is Alex Weyman. Welcome to the Thefinaladvance YouTube channel. I am a tour manager. I have been a tour manager for the past several years, and I've worked with a variety of DJs, bands, solo artists, theater productions, etc., in a variety of international type shows, tours, buses, bandwagons, trailers, vans, trucks, etc. So guys, please consider following the channel if you want to see more tour and music industry related content. And check out the Thefinaladvance website, which will be linked down below in the description. We've got all kinds of blogs, courses for those looking to get started in the music industry. We're working on developing a podcast and a bunch of other things, so go check it out, thefinaladvance.com. So the first thing that a tour manager does on the road, and I've already kind of mentioned it, is first, not partying is so key. The tour manager is not there to party. The tour manager is not there to just have fun the entire time. Being a TM is like being the dad on the road. My touring party, or your touring party as a TM, is your family. They're your kids, they're your brothers, your sisters, and as the dad, you have the responsibility of overseeing the entire success of the tour. So my job as a TM in this context is to get everyone safely from point A to point B, making sure that everyone is behaving themselves, whatever that means. Think dad on the road. Obviously, some bands like to party and others don't, or some do kind of in between. And so as a TM, it's my responsibility to sort of oversee the safety of the band and the crew. And if there are maybe limits being, or thresholds being crossed, limits being met, things are being done that are unsafe, as a TM, it's my responsibility sometimes to be that annoying, nagging voice that says, hey guys, we probably shouldn't stay up until 6 a.m. and party when we have a 10-hour drive to our next city for a 10 a.m. load-in. So that means like not missing bus call. I've had a lot of tours where I have to enforce bus call because we have a very specific drive time that we have to make. I have the driver that's just fresh from the hotel, and I have to be mindful and respectful of their limitations on the road as a driver. And sometimes I have to be that, again, nagging, annoying voice that says, hey guys, let's get our shit together and hit the road. The tour manager is also the bridge between the band, the crew, the venues, and the promoters. And so because I can't always control the actions or behaviors of other people outside of our tour, arguably I can't control the actions or behaviors of people on our tour, but I can at least kind of give reminders to our guys like, hey, let's be kind to each other, let's be respectful to each other, let's be respectful to the venues, to the promoters, to the staff that they bring, because at the end of the day, again, dad mode, we are here to have a successful, safe, and fun show. So let's just be mindful of being respectful to everyone. The second thing that tour managers have to be very heavily involved in on the road is finances. Tours have a lot of moving money pieces, from things like settlements to Ubers, ground transportation, to production purchases, to catering buyouts, to merch cash, to receipts on the road for different auxiliary purchases and things like that. As a TM, it is my job to accurately track and handle all of this money appropriately. This is money that is crucial for the tour to succeed financially and for people to get paid. And I'm not talking just about the crew. Even the band, the money that they make after the tour comes from a consistent stream of accurately tracked and deposited settlements. Agents and managers, for example, rely on the commissions of the tour. So if there's any discrepancy or missed payments, it directly impacts the money that people are making from this tour. And then of course, there's all the money that comes with the crew. You have to pay all of your vendors, and if there's any production vendors, media people you hire, the crew that are on the road with you, local merch sellers. Everybody has invoices that need to be cleared. And as a TM, it is my responsibility to stay on top of the finances to make sure everything is dialed, tracked, and processed correctly. The third thing that tour managers sort of have to be involved in on the road is production. And now some TMs don't get as involved in production as others. Typically, once you enter like arena level touring, you're more, or even a little bit less smaller than that, tours will have a production manager with them at all times. The production manager is the one responsible for all the production. They oversee the stage build, the trailer packs, overseeing all the local labor hands and like how to direct them and what they do. And so as a TM, sometimes you aren't as involved in the production, but you do always have an overview of production, because again, as the tour manager, your job, my job, is to oversee the entire success of the tour, every single moving piece. In fact, I have a video on this channel, and I'll probably put a link somewhere here. If not, it'll be in the description, for a video I did about which production items a TM should probably be most familiar with. And so if you are curious or you have questions about what production entails, definitely check out that video. The third thing that tour managers have to do on the road is advancing. And anyone who works in live events is probably very familiar with the advance. For those that don't know, the advance is basically the thread of communication between artist teams and promoters and venues to design the entire day of show logistically in advance. Things like where to park, what time stage hands will be on site, confirming all the set times and changeovers, hospitality needs, things like, are there showers at the venue? Is there laundry? All that stuff leading up to the actual day of the show is what entails the advancing process. So without the advance, we go into a show blind, which, depending on the size of the tour that you're on, most tours, fall in this category, is just impossible, especially if you travel with production. Like, you cannot show up at a venue and expect everything to be there without communication. So in my case, I usually like to advance our shows up to 2 or 3 months in advance if possible. Now, there are always going to be things that change last minute, but if there are some big, maybe like production overview pieces that can get confirmed early on, I find it to be better to get way ahead of it so that you're not strapped last minute to make, big decisions that could negatively or positively change the success of the date. The next thing that is very pinnacle to the tour manager on the road and their job, and again, this is sort of in the mid-level touring range. Once you hit like international arena tours, it's very possible for you to have a person that is dedicated to this so that the TM doesn't have to worry as much about it. But it's hospitality. Every show obviously needs to be as comfortable as possible, especially when, we're on the road for months at a time. And I'm talking about things like making sure the rider items are stocked, whether it's food, whether it's like earplugs, Sharpies, pillows, socks, whatever the riders call for, making sure that the buyouts are ready for the band and the crew so that people can eat during the day, and then other general hospitality needs. So things like showers, laundry, waters for the stage, etc. As a tour manager, it's my duty to make sure that we come into a show and are as comfortable as possible when it comes to some of these amenities. Everyone needs to shower on the road. Everyone needs to do laundry eventually. And if we have a string of shows that don't have them at the venues, then I have to figure out, okay, are we doing day rooms for showers? Are we doing a laundromat service? Can they come to the venue? Do we have to do it as a bus stop, etc.? I know this is kind of a lot of things, and we're going to keep going. So hopefully you are invested and interested. Next up is transportation. Specifically by transportation, what I mean is how we as a tour get from city to city and how it plays into the overview of the tour. So as a tour manager, I'm very involved in the decision-making process of things like, are we taking a bus? Are we taking trucks? Or if we are taking trucks, how many are we taking? Are we taking semis? Are we taking trailers? Are we taking bandwagon? Bandwagon is a very common alternative to a bus that's a bit more, well, it used to be a bit more cost effective. Now, honestly, it's pretty comparable. You can get a Prevost bus for around the same rate as a bandwagon if it's an older Prevost. I've seen some go for around the same rate. In some deals, the contract will actually specify that the promoter is providing transportation for us. And so then I have to figure out, what does that look like? Is it going to be enough? Is it going to be big enough with all of our luggage, bags, etc.? And then also having to figure out the bus drivers and hotel rooms, because once you're on bus tours, you have a driver, and drivers have very strict rules about how long they can be on the road. Driving, again, it's a safety concern. And when they're not on the road, they have to be in hotel rooms for, I think it's 8 hours. They have to be off the clock consistently. And so as a TM, it's my duty to make sure that I have the hotel rooms booked, that I have their schedules lined up correctly, and just keeping in mind their general restrictions when it comes to traveling. And then the final thing that I have to worry about or work on, I don't want to use the word worry, it's more of like it's my duty, is labor, specifically hiring and managing the crews on the road of the tour. I'm talking about roles like LD, VJ, front of house, playback, guitar and drum techs, monitors, A1, PM, SM, VIP coordinators, merch managers, etc. In some cases, the management companies will already have these individuals pre-decided. For example, if there's somebody that has been on the tour previously and did a great job in a role, or I've worked with somebody in the past that I know does a really great job, we will bring them back. But that's not always the case. Life happens, people drop off for different reasons. And so sometimes I have to be the one that hires these individuals and vet them and interview them, etc. It's really, for me, about taking care of their well-being overall. So financially, making sure that they get paid on time, because people that don't get paid don't want to work, obviously. Making sure hospitality, food is taken care of. So if they have per diems, if they have dietary restrictions, it's making sure that I know all of these things and get them their money and their food when they need it. And then making sure they have the tools that they need to succeed at their job. So if a production manager needs some kind of updated piece of hardware for the wireless system, I have to make sure I get it for them. If the guitar techs or drum techs are running out of ancillary items, like maybe we're low on drumsticks or we're low on picks or strings, I have to make sure that those orders are placed and that we have them and we never run out. And the secret thing that tour managers do that not many people really know about or understand, but it's very important, is reporting to management. Specifically, like, you got to realize management is not on the road with you. They're not on the road with the band. They sit in their office and maybe they'll come out to a show or two, but they don't get to see the entire breadth of the tour. And they don't know what's working and what's not working. I am the ears for management on the road, and I track, and a good TM will always track every single detail of what happens on the road. And that includes things like drama. If there's drama between band members, between different bands, between crew, and then also fans. Like, it's very important for management to understand how fans are interacting with the band, or fans are reacting positively to a new single, or maybe they are singing along to one song but not to the other. Those are all valuable things for management to know so that they can then internalize that, maybe discuss it with the band, and that could change the writing process for the band for the next album cycle. Or it could change how they, strategically use their Spotify's or YouTube's. And then also it's for optimizing for future shows and tours. So, if for some reason there's a production piece that just sucks and it's just never working the way we want it to, letting management know about it will enable them to think ahead to, like, how can we make this better for the next tour? So yeah, there you have it. There are some of the core responsibilities of what a TM will do on the road. And I will say that every TM sort of runs their ship differently. These are kind of like big overview, sort of, in my opinion, some of the most important duties of a TM, but there are a ton of other small nuanced things that TMs will do. If you guys found it useful, definitely consider checking out more videos on the channel. Check out the website, which will be linked below. There's going to be courses offered there, and you can also request like individual calls there if you want to do a consultation for maybe a tour that you are working on. There's also the option to put comment or questions in the comments if you do have specific questions. I'd definitely be happy to check those out. So yeah, thank you guys. I'll see you next time.